So I try to help her with some business things, and she tries to help me with some jiu-jitsu things, and we go lift weights together. And like our entire friendship and relationship is having the best parts of each other rub off on each other. There's a fair way to that's how I think about it.
Yeah, and they all hard things, right? That's what I love it the most.
It's not soft.
My relationship with Derek has been nothing but hard things every day, But I love that. I love that aspect of our friendship.
Aristotle said, "You are what you repeatedly do." So excellence is a habit. It's difficult for a lot of people to maintain that day after day after day. They find it very daunting, and that's good that most people feel that way because it makes them a lot easier to beat. Like it excites me that the average person is super lazy and super unwilling to do that.
If you don't have $1 million yet, you're living a much lesser life than what could be easily available to you with the right guidance. My head coach has freed up a few spots in his calendar to hold one-on-one strategy calls with the highest quality applicants. If you're doing well already and you're looking to accelerate your momentum and do even better, click the link in the description now and apply for your strategy session. More at the end of this video.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. Why don't you go here, Brandon? Look what I found in the lobby today. I keep saying that to him. I bring in big stars and say, look what I found in the lobby. A lot of you met Claudia. She always said, Derek, when you do another event, you want me to stop by? I was like, hell yeah, come through. Brandon Carter. You guys know Brandon Carter? What do you know about Brandon Carter?
Smart man.
Baller. Known baller. What else? King Keto. True. What else? He is. Yeah. He is. In many ways. Brandon's been, we were just doing the math earlier. Brandon and I met in August 2014, I think, but a bit over 9 years ago. And, in that time, he's always been lean. He's always consistent with his workouts, consistent with his diet. Always lean, always ripped. That's like a decade, Always lean, always ripped, consistent with his business, has grown his business significantly in that time, kept himself in great shape. You're 40 now?
41.
41? Shit. That's old for a baller, right?
Yeah, I'm just getting started.
But yeah, he'd been consistent that way the whole time, and in personality attributes in terms of, several times I asked him, hey man, come fly to Vegas and do this thing with me, or hey, let's go to London, or whatever the hell it was, and always say, yeah man, I'm down. When are we going? So been a good friend, very consistent in his business, consistent in his interpersonal relationships, friendships, consistent with his diet, his workouts. So that is a very appropriate word for him, and been a very reliable, good friend. I think we've been good to each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, 100%. 100%.
Been 100% okay.
Derek's one of my best friends, man, for over the last decade. So it's my pleasure to be here to be able to talk to you guys.
Claudia, for those that aren't aware, Claudia's become a good friend of mine. Has been a training partner. It's my favorite weightlifting friend. We'll lift weights together a lot. And I don't know how much time we spend together, but a lot, many days per year, usually many days per month. And yeah, we just go lift weights. What's a day like, Well, let me say a couple bullet points. Like Claudia's, she's from the northeast of Brazil. And she came to America to follow her UFC dream. And she's a top contender at UFC, beat up some of the champions, fought for the title over there. And before that, she came from a strong jiu-jitsu background. She's a 7-time national champion of Brazil in jiu-jitsu, 3-time world champion. and is, one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners of, period, but among the women is, really stands out as truly exceptional. And I say this to the guys, and I think some of them don't like it, but I say Claudia is is one of my best coaches, that she thinks about things in a lot of detail. She's happy to do those boring little details that I talk about with you folks. And there's, maybe I'll have her tell an example of it, but there's times we spend, 4.5, 5 hours in a day. We'll go lift weights all day, and then we'll spend 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours in the training room. Might just work on one little thing repetitively. One little thing, a couple little mechanics of some micro detail until it's just beautiful, beautiful. Then some big dude comes over a few days later and, who's also very talented, and I get him in that thing, and I'm just like, yeah. I feel great about it. She's one of the best coaches that of all the, and for those of you that pay any attention to my social media, or you see who the coaches are that I'm training with, these are all world champions and Hall of Fame individuals, and she's really one of the very, very best among them in her ability to see those little details and convey information, and very patient and nurturing with me in that context. So I try to help her with some business things, and she tries to help me with some jiu-jitsu things, and we go lift weights together. And like our entire friendship and relationship is kind of helping each other, and really having the best parts of each other rub off on each other. That's a fair way to. That's how I think about it.
Yeah, and they all hard things, right? That's what I love it the most.
It's not soft.
Not soft at all. I love spending people that can do the hard things with me. Most men I work out with, I can outlift them, and I can't do that with Derek. So he kind of brings the best out of me. And even in my physical training, which I love challenging myself to that growth every day. I came from nothing and got all the way here, choosing to do the hard things every day, right? So if I want to get better in life every day, if I have higher things to achieve in my life, I gotta keep doing the hard things, and I want to bond with the people that are helping me to do the hard things every day. I wake up and I choose to do the hard things every day. So I want to be with folks that are willing to do those with me, so I can continue to grow. And my relationship with Derek has been nothing but hard things every day, But I love that. I love that aspect of our friendship. And, the last year of my life, I see nothing but growth in every area of my life by, doing that, not only physically, but mentally, and, the other things I'm doing in my life. So it's been great. Thank you.
What do if somebody makes the opposite habit, what would it be like if they wake up every day and instead of choosing to conquer, instead of choosing to do the hard things, they choose to do some average shit? What has your experience been observing those type of individuals?
I grew up around a lot of fighters, a lot of athletes, and I seen so many people choosing the easy path and not really getting where they want to get in life. I remember growing up in Brazil and training in one of the best gyms, martial arts gyms in the world, and being around amazing fighters and seeing people, getting there and just dreaming to be a great fighter, but they were not willing to do the hard things and to put in the work that they really needed to put in order to get to that level. And when I look back and I see these people, they still in the same place where I was, and you can really see the results of the ones that chose to show up and be their best self every day, And when I wake up and choose to, do my best every day, be the best version of myself every day, and really close the gap between the person I am today and the person I have the potential to be, I think about those people a lot, I go back to the favelas in Brazil and I go man, those people didn't choose to do the hard things, and look where they are and look where I am, So this is the things I have to continue to do, And sometimes people choose to do the hard things for a couple of years of their lives, and they start getting results, and they have that idea of, oh, I made it, that I made it. It's what kills you. When you feel like you made it, that's when, you're gonna go down the rabbit hole, right? Because now you're not gonna do the things that really got you where you are anymore. You're not gonna do the things that really got you where you wanna be because you feel like you made it, And those are the things that got you there. Like, how stupid are you to stop doing that and expect to keep growing, There's no growth without being amazing every day, So, like, I have zero respect from people around me that are not willing to do the hard things every day, because I am, and I expect everybody around me to be the same so I can continue to grow, and it's very hard for me to be around people that are not willing to go hard every day and be amazing in what they can be amazing.
I talked, I shared this story with them, but I'll mention it to you as well. That I talked with Greg Jackson a while ago. He was staying with me, and so I was training with Andrei Arlovsky and him. And I asked Greg, I said, you ran one of the premier gyms for quite some time, built a great reputation in his coaching and whatnot, coached a lot of champions, seen a lot of people come and go, but had a lot of champions that are, they didn't win a belt accidentally, and they were able to retain that belt for longer than many other people. I think Holly or John, or Holly was 17-time boxing champion, maybe before then, but first person to knock out Ronda Rousey, first person to win a fight against Ronda, etc. John Jones is John Jones. I said, what are the things that you've noticed that makes a difference? Somebody that's successful for a little while, like you said, maybe they work hard for a couple of years and they get there. They're successful for a little while, and maybe they do really great, for a little while, versus the ones that have durable, they stay there. They made it to the top, and they stay at the top, near the top, for a long period of time. And he said, there's a lot of things that a fighter could do to fuck up their life, and he said, but a lot of them you can recover from. That if some people have a little bit of an alcohol or a drug problem, that you can get them past that, and they can keep their momentum and keep winning. If they got some bad eating habits, you can get them past that, and so their weight cuts aren't so bad. They'll keep going. So they, maybe some people get successful and make some decisions that are, their significant other might like them to behave differently, so they get divorced. So they can have a divorce, and still keep winning. He says the number one thing that messes people up is when they start getting famous, they forgot how they got there. They start getting famous, they start getting money, they forgot, like, what were the things that I was doing that got me there? And then pretty soon they don't need a coach. Well, first of all, they don't need to train and practice as hard as they used to. And then they don't want to go as hard with their training partners. And then they don't need their coach at all because they're the one that did it, not the coach, And he says, right, that's kind of the spiral, the downward spiral, that they forgot how they got there and stopped doing the things that got them there. Things go very badly. And usually it's hard to recover from that. He says you get the phone call or you get the text message, a few months or a year and a half later, like, hey, sorry, man, can I come back with you guys? They say usually they don't make it back to where they were. You've seen some of that happen as well, I imagine.
A lot of that happening. And for me, like, I am in a amazing phase in my life that a lot of athletes would, feel terrible, right? I mean, a transition of retiring from something that I did my entire life and becoming this new person, right? And I always tell people, like, an athlete dies twice. Like, you died the day you retired, and then you die the day you die. Because you lose your identity, Imagine waking up every day for 32 years doing one thing and being driven by one thing, and then, you turn 32 years old and you're not that person anymore. You gotta go do something else, like go find out what you're gonna be now and do. Go find out what you can create now because you're not that person anymore. And it was pretty amazing being that person, by the way. It hurts, right? But if I didn't use the skills I learned from fighting to that new phase of my life, all those hard things, and all the people that helped me to get to that level in my life, I would be depressed and broke right now. Like you see a lot of athletes, like football players that make a lot of fucking money and they lose everything because they don't know what to do without being that person. They lose that identity and they don't know what to do. And they don't understand that part that they gotta keep doing the same hard things they were doing when they were playing sports, but now in this new life, and maybe nobody thought that to them either, nobody taught me that, but I was like, hey, that day will come. It's a matter of when, not if. And I gotta know what to do there, and I know a lot of athletes that are depressed right now that retired a couple of years ago. They gained a lot of weight. They can't find a meaning in life anymore, and they forget what got them where they were in sports. And it's the same thing, the same skills you used in sports now to the other thing you're doing, like choosing to do the hard things every day, being consistent, showing up every day to do the thing. You can't have a nice body, right, Brendan, if you don't show up every day consistently. A lot of people, will ask me, and I bet a lot of people ask you too, like, how do you get that body? Like, can you give me a diet? Like, can you give me a recipe to get that body? We will answer, show up every day, do the hard things every day, go train hard every day, go eat well every day. It's not about a pill that will get you to that place you want to be, it's that consistency every day of being that great person that deserve to have that body, deserve to have that amount of money, So, yeah.
Maybe I'll ask you some of the same things, Vander. This word consistency came up again, and one of the folks here mentioned that about you. I elaborated on that. How important is that consistency part? Like, what's the difference between somebody that does something consistently, whether they feel like it or not, versus somebody that wakes up and decides to do some emotional random shit day to day?
The difference that day is almost negligible, right? But when you expand that over a long time horizon, the differences are like super vast, It's because Aristotle said, you are what you repeatedly do. So excellence is a habit, and it's difficult for a lot of people to maintain that day after day after day. They find it very daunting. It's an arduous task for them. And that's good that most people feel that way because it makes them a lot easier to beat, Like it excites me that the average person is super lazy and super unwilling to do that. And for us, those of you guys who choose to walk that path, it almost like ensures your success. Consistency is undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna get results if you show up every day on a consistent basis, and if you like really push yourself. I think a big reason why most people find that difficult is because they're doing it because they want to accomplish something. They're looking at the goal, right? And sometimes, you show up every day consistently for a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month, but you're still far away from the goal that you set out for. And that distance can be discouraging, right? And they quit, right? Or they get there, right? Like Claudia said, they get there and then they stop doing the things that got them there because they were doing it for the thing. But, this may sound weird, but I think about that consistency and that showing up every day, doing the things that are difficult, doing the things that other people are like not willing to do. And I get the pride from that more than I get the pride from the goal. You know what I'm saying? Like money, like I love money. I love money. I don't want that to be misconstrued even for a moment. However, I understand it's a byproduct of being consistent and showing up every day, you know, as that pertains to skill acquisition or even just moving forward, right? Like, and if you keep doing that every day, I know that the money will come and all the results will come from that. But that's not the thing I'm going for. I don't know if that makes sense. I want to be tougher than you. And when I say you, I mean like humans, right? I want to, I get this like weird feeling when you know that time when you feel like you want to quit, you want to stop. Damn, I don't want to do this shit no more. And I think, this is when a regular motherfucker would quit. And I'm like, all right, let's keep going. And I get a certain kind of pride. I don't know. It's almost sick. And I get more pride out of pushing myself than I do out of accomplishing the goal or getting the results of the goal or experiencing. All that is cool. That's dope. But it's just a byproduct. And I think like one of my favorite things in the world is when someone like asks me, how do you get that body? And I tell them, you know, some of the stuff, I'll say something and be like, man, that's difficult, man. That's a lot of discipline, man. I don't know if I can do that or say something like that. And because I'm typically a nice guy, depending on who you ask, you know, I'll say something to the effect of, oh yeah, man, you know, whatever your priorities are, I'll get it. But in real life, I'm thinking, of course you can. You'll never be me. You know what I'm saying? And I specialize in shit you could never do. And controlling the amount of food I put in my mouth is the least impressive thing on that list. That's what I'm thinking. But in reality, that's what I'm doing it for. That feeling of superiority that I get when people feel like they can't do it, what I do. But it's not that they can't. You know, it's when you can learn to like push yourself and start taking pride in that, you unlock a whole nother level of potential that I don't think the average person has ever really accessed for a significant amount of time. Like almost anybody, right? You know, I think that's what separates us from the people we grew up with, like all three of us. Like that's what separated us. It's I'm sure there were some people in both of your lives who were just as talented or maybe had more like natural gifts in different aspects, but they got left behind, lapped significantly because, you know, they got thrown off track for some reason, or they couldn't show up every day. It's really what separates people.
You know, a couple thoughts that I shared with them earlier this week. And, you know, Brandon Carter's maybe one of the most humble people I know.
The most humble.
Yeah.
I'm like a god of humility.
Known for his humility.
Yeah. I don't talk about it too much because I'm better than that. But yeah.
We've talked about it a number of times. You know, there's a value that he and I share is our humility. And, you know, I've always explained to him when somebody don't understand, it's like, oh, they seem a little cocky. No. They'd have to understand just how great we are to understand how humble we really are.
Exactly.
If they were half as good, they'd probably brag a lot more than you and I.
They couldn't even handle it.
But we're so much better than that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we never talk about it. We never talk about how humble we are. We're better.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. But, you know, a theme that we had going for a couple of days ago is I said, look, if you think you know everything, it's really hard to learn something new.
Yeah.
I think it's very important that it's fine to be cocky and talk a little bit shit, but when you start getting in the realm of arrogance and like speaking beyond your skill set, you're in trouble. You're about to be humiliated to the world. So I think it's very, very important to think objectively about what are your current, you know, assets and liabilities. What are the things that you do very well? Mm-hmm. What are the things that you'd be well suited to do certain things better? It would enhance your life circumstances, you know, substantially. Mm-hmm. What are the liabilities worth fixing? And, you know, if you think you know everything, it's just hard to learn new shit. So you have to be very honest with yourself about that. It's fine to make cocky jokes. I enjoy making cocky jokes. I'm pretty good at it. But I can also do any of the shit that I say that I can do. I get that shit already. I can still do that shit. I'm gonna do more of it. I'm gonna do it bigger, better, more in the future. I got more experience doing that shit now. So, yeah, just cocky jokes are fun and funny. People like that, except for losers, because it reminds them that they're losers. But you really got to have a sincere humility that you're a person that you always had a lot of coaches, mentors, teachers.
100%.
You and I have helped each other in different contexts.
Yeah.
She and I have helped each other in different contexts. That, what's the importance that's had in your life of having enough humility to go ask for help in areas that you weren't yet a king, Lord, and God?
Yeah, how do I put it? When you want to acquire a skill, I suppose you could attempt to learn it on your own, I guess, but
Yeah, man. You should have invented your own language too.
yeah,
Instead of just speaking the one that was pervasive around you.
it's just for me, man. I always feel like when I'm serious about something, I definitely always get a coach in that regard. Whatever skill set I'm trying to acquire or deepen my level of skill in, I get a coach in that regard. And I have a lot of coaches now in different domains just because I just want to keep improving every day, right? I never get to the point where I feel like I got it, I'm good enough. Because for multiple reasons. For one, every level is like a new devil. So when you get to a certain level of success or you build your business to a certain level, now you got to deal with different things that maybe you didn't have to at the last level, right? You have to make those adaptations. And also there's less competition, but the competition is better, right? There's more formidable opponents, and if I'm gonna play to win. You know what I'm saying? So the opponents are a lot more formidable as you climb. Nobody knows that better than nobody here knows that probably better than Claudia yet, right? As you rise the ranks, the competition gets better, and you gotta keep improving in order to not only beat them but compete with the people at that level, and then the people who's coming up trying to beat you. So if you're not continuously improving your skill set, then it's going to be difficult. It's going to afford you a lot of opportunity for misfortune. And the fastest way to improve your skill set is to get a coach in those domains that you want to get better at, because experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience. You know what I'm saying? I've learned stuff from Derek that I was able to dodge a lot of bullets that I wouldn't even have saw, different blind spots. And I think a coach is good. A coach can see things you're doing that you may not see. They can see your blind spots. I think that, and just things that if you're going somewhere you've never trying to do something you never did before, there's always some unconscious incompetence, right? The things you don't even know you don't know, right? And then and some of it's just not in books, and even if it is in books, there's nuances that are difficult to explain in that medium, right? I can read a book about swimming, but that don't make me Michael Phelps. You know what I'm saying?
I think books are a great starting point if you're like a fucking child. If you're a child and you're trying to learn something, you're not going to have access to some of the resources that the three of us would. Mm-hmm. So if you're like a child in junior high, maybe high school, I think reading some books is a good idea. That helped me. That was useful. But if all the answers were in the books, then librarians would be the richest people in the world. Librarians would have all the gold medals and fancy belts and billion-dollar bank accounts and shit. I just don't know a lot of wealthy librarians. They got all the books, yeah?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't believe in that shit. I think a lot of people buy a book. You know, so like something like 92% of books that are purchased are never read.
Yeah, that's a real stat. Yeah.
How many of you, I've been guilty of that. How many of you are willing to admit you bought books that you never read? You know, how many of you have a dozen or more books that probably are great books sitting around you never read?
Yeah.
I do too. I do too. So a lot of people buy a book because they say like, oh, I know I need help in that area. Let me get that book about that. I heard about that book that's going to fix that for me. And they get that book and they take it home and they set it down somewhere. They're like, I'm going to get around to that soon. I know the answer is right in there. When I want to fix that thing, the answer is over there. I'm going to go read that shit and go fix that thing. And then the next thing happens in life and the next thing happens in life. And they never made it a priority to go fix that thing. And then a big crisis happens, which I'll just translate as like a huge opportunity in life happens. Or, 2020, March 2020 happens. And but you never read the book, you bitch. You bitch, you never got around to reading it. And, if you haven't read the thing, internalized the thing, if the answers are even in there to begin with, that's even partially a delusion or maybe mostly a delusion. If the answer you were looking for was in there anyway, you're not prepared to do it. You're not prepared to do it. You can't possibly learn something that quick and have confidence in it and, be able to implement that. You do that from all the training, doing the same boring shit repetitively, looking at the financial statements, working on those little nuances of different chokes and grappling moves. Like the people that are the best in the world at something just do the same boring shit repetitively. I find a little humor. People ask me like, oh, Derek, what's new? What have you been up to? I'm like, I just do the same few things repetitively.
That's a fact.
I don't do anything
That's
new.
a fact. The same shit. Yeah, I deliberately try to do the same thing. I try not to add stuff. Like I go out of my way to not add stuff.
I don't want to do anything new. So, Derek, the new trendy, blah, blah. I don't give a shit about the new trendy thing. I'm not trendy in the way I dress. I'm not trendy in whatever. I don't even listen to music. Maybe I listen to. I don't listen to like 3 songs per month willingly. I don't turn on music like maybe once per month. It's less than that. Five times per year, I want to listen to music for a short period of time, and then I'm good for months. But if I listen to something, it'll be like from the 90s or 2000s. It's not even the new trendy thing.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.